WTA Osaka 2025. Eala and Andreescu suffer respective disappointments. An exciting day at the WTA 250 Osaka 2025 tournament, featuring renowned names, some of whom will no longer be in the draw. Alexandra Eala fell to Valentova, while Bianca Andreescu succumbed to Golubic in a 3-6-6 to 4-6-1 match. Other winners of the day included Leylah Fernandez, Marie Buzkova, Jacqueline Christian, Rebecca Sramkova, and Dalma Galfi. The soft hum of Osaka's late summer breeze danced through the Ariake Tennis Forest Park as the WTA Osaka 2025 entered its decisive stages. The Japanese crowd, polite yet passionate, had come hoping to witness magic, and perhaps redemption, from two of the sport's most intriguing figures. Alex Eala, the fiery Filipina prodigy still climbing the professional ranks, and Bianca Andreescu, the comeback artist from Canada who once ruled New York under the brightest lights. But tennis, as it often reminds even its greatest dreamers, is a game of thin margins and cruel timing. For both Eala and Andreescu, the Osaka courts became a stage of what could have been. Two parallel tales of disappointment shaped by different journeys, yet connected by a shared longing for resurgence. The young lioness, Alex Eala's unfinished symphony. For Alex Eala, the 2025 Asian swing had promised something special. Fresh off her career-high ranking and glimpses of brilliance in China, Osaka was supposed to be her statement stop. The week she steadied her rhythm, turned tight matches into triumphs, and showed the world she belonged in the top 50 conversation. Instead, it became another lesson in the unforgiving rhythm of the tour. Her opening match was a battle, not only against a seasoned opponent, but against herself. The first set went to a tiebreak, filled with long rallies and moments where Eala's speed and grit dazzled the crowd. Her signature cross-court backhand, low, slicing through the humid air, drew gasps from the Japanese spectators who hadn't seen many players combine finesse and fire quite like her. But when the tiebreak came, so did the doubts. A pair of unforced errors at 5-5, a mistimed forehand just an inch wide, and the set was gone. The second set followed the same cruel pattern. Chances came, but never stayed. When the final point landed long, Eala froze for a second before looking up toward her box. Her coach clapped, her fitness trainer nodded in quiet encouragement. The young Filipina simply raised her racket in acknowledgement to the fans before walking off, her eyes betraying frustration but also reflection. It was another early exit, her third in the past month. Yet, within that loss there was still a spark. The fight hadn't disappeared, the composure hadn't cracked. She was playing at the edge of something. Not yet a breakthrough, but not far from it either. "Every tournament teaches me more about myself," she told reporters afterward, her voice calm yet introspective. "It's not about avoiding disappointment. It's about how you carry it forward." And that's exactly what makes Eala's story compelling. At just 20, she's in the grinding phase every great player endures, where the talent is obvious but the consistency is still under construction. Osaka didn't gift her a win, but it gifted her perspective. She's learning that patience is a weapon, too. The veteran of chaos, Andreescu's battle with shadows. Bianca Andreescu walked into Osaka not as the rising star she once was, but as a warrior trying to reclaim her identity. The 2019 U.S. Open champion had spent years in a spiral of injuries, self-doubt, and near comebacks. Each return felt promising, yet every time she began to gather momentum, fate, in the form of a wrist tweak, a back strain, or simply bad timing, seemed to strike again. But this week in Osaka was supposed to be different. Her team had spoken of renewed energy, mental balance, and the long-awaited return of her signature creativity. Those unpredictable drop shots, disguised slices, and angles that once frustrated even Serena Williams. And in flashes, she showed that very magic. Her first-round match drew a packed stadium. Andreescu's charisma was magnetic, her energy playful, her shot selection unpredictable. She glided between aggression and artistry, painting the court with precision. But the trouble, as it's often been in her post-2019 career, came not from her opponent, but from her body. Midway through the second set, she grimaced after a long rally, reaching instinctively for her left thigh. The rhythm faltered. The power dimmed. And just like that, the match turned. By the time she walked to the net to shake hands, her head hung low. The Canadian star, who once looked destined to become a WTA dynasty, was again left with questions instead of answers. "I've learned not to define myself by results anymore," Andreescu said in her press conference, her smile faint but sincere. It's tough, of course. You work, you prepare, and your body doesn't cooperate. But I know who I am, and I'll keep coming back. The words echoed through the media room like a quiet anthem of resilience. Osaka 2025 had not been her redemption, but it might still be a small step toward it. Two journeys, one mirror. In different locker rooms, under the same Osaka lights, Eala and Andreescu faced similar truths. That tennis glory, no matter how close it feels, remains fleeting. Both players, separated by experience but united by spirit, are learning the same language of perseverance. For Eala, the dream is ahead, the breakthrough waiting somewhere on the horizon. For Andreescu, the dream is memory, something she's trying to chase back into being. Their stories intersect in that fragile space between promise and pain, the space where every athlete eventually finds themselves. There's something profoundly human about watching them fight through it. Because sports fans often celebrate the champions, the trophies, the perfect moments. But the essence of sport, the part that lingers long after the headlines fade, lives in the struggle. In the sight of a 20-year-old rising star refusing to fold despite heartbreak. In a 25-year-old former champion forcing herself to believe again, even when belief hurts. The Asian swing's unforgiving rhythm. Osaka marked the tail end of the Asian tennis stretch, a whirlwind of stops in Suzhou, Wuhan, Tokyo, and now Japan's cultural capital. For many players, this part of the season is both opportunity and ordeal. A last push before the year's end, where every match can affect rankings, confidence, and next season's trajectory. For Eala, the trip had started with optimism. An early win in Suzhou, a near upset in Wuhan, and glimpses of brilliance that reminded fans of her junior Grand Slam pedigree. But consistency has remained elusive. Her aggressive baseline game, though thrilling, sometimes falters under pressure. She's still adjusting to the physical toll of consecutive main draw appearances, a challenge even for seasoned veterans. And yet, every match she plays in Asia builds something vital: experience under pressure. In tennis, it's often the losses that sharpen you most. For Andreescu, the Asian swing was about endurance, about seeing how much her body could handle after months of rehab and modified training. She moved better, looked leaner, and seemed more composed than in her previous return attempts. But even so, Osaka proved once again that the hardest battle isn't always across the net. Sometimes it's within your own body.